Hey guys, welcome to Poor Man Mods. Today I'm going to be doing a tool review on something that I didn't know I needed my entire life. Maybe not my entire life, but the whole time I've been working on cars, I've needed this and I had no idea. We're doing a review today and a demonstration, but I gotta warn you, some of you're gonna have to get your head out of the gutter, okay? Because we're gonna be reviewing the Jack Rod. Yes, the Jack Rod. Now, I had no idea that I needed this my entire life, and after this video, you guys might think the same thing. Now, some people out there are bad boys, and they use jacks as jack stands. Well, you're not supposed to do that. You should never, ever, ever rely on a hydraulic device like a floor jack or a hoist to hold something. Jacks and cranes that are hydraulic are meant for lifting, but not holding. They will lose pressure over time and they will fail. There have been plenty of people that have died from not using jack stands. Unfortunately, way too many people. And you can find every year stories of people dying from relying on a jack, and you should never, ever do that. It might be convenient to do that. You might think you'll be okay just by doing a brake job, but you should never, ever rely solely on a jack when working on a vehicle, and that's where AGA Tools comes in. They came up with this, the Jack Rod. This allows you to rely on your jack as a jack stand, and I'm going to show you how, and I'll also take this to the workbench and review it and go over any safety concerns that you might have, but this is a game changer. This is going to allow you to use your jack to jack up your car in a safe manner. Install this, release the hydraulic pressure, and rely on this mechanical device, not a hydraulic device. So I have two different jacks that we're going to demonstrate this with on my Supra here. Okay, on the back of my Supra here, I have this bash bar where I made a jacking point. I just chose this spot for demonstrating purposes because it's nice out in the open. But obviously, when jacking up your car, be safe. Choose a safe location. Every vehicle is going to be different, but when jacking up a vehicle, you have to be safe and smart. This is a little 1.5 ton jack, which is just sliding right off. This thing is an absolute game changer. You're gonna take the bottom of the jack rod and put it on the bottom axle of the jack, pull the lever, and you're gonna place it on this upper articulating arm rod piece right here. Now, since this is a really small jack, this piece is a little bit too wide and it won't sit solely on the rod right here. I don't think that's going to be an issue, but this is a really small jack. And just like that, it's extended. Then we'll be able to solely rely on this to hold the vehicle. You won't need a jack stand. Unless the vehicle is unbalanced, you must make sure the vehicle is safe and balanced. In this situation, I wouldn't recommend just one because this is the center of the vehicle, but this is just for demonstrating of what this bad boy can do. And there we go, locked in place. The jack is loosened all the way. You are now no longer relying on the hydraulic system of this jack to keep it up. The hydraulic system is released. You are now relying just on the jack rod. And this baby is rated for 2 tons or 4,000 pounds. So plenty of headroom here. This thing is freaking awesome. So I have a bigger jack. We'll test it on now. This jack that I'm using now is rated as a 3-ton jack. So the jack is stronger, or at least rated for more weight than the jack rod. So when using the jack rod, be smart. Do not go over its rated weight capacity. Don't be stupid, okay? Don't put a Cadillac Escalade solely on this jack rod. Be smart about it. So that is extended pretty high. little bit too high for the jack rod. Let's go down. Oh yeah, baby. Just like that. And that right there, absolutely perfect. Locked in, absolutely safe. You can now rely on this jack. You don't need to put a jack stand in another location and worry about losing the balance and all that. This is an absolute dream to have. I can't tell you how many times I've jacked up the vehicle with the jack and I thought the balance was perfect or there wasn't another spot for a jack stand, and it was just a total struggle to get the jack stand in there, or the jack was just too big. Total struggle and nightmare it can be sometimes. So this, I am so happy I have one now. I really don't see why you wouldn't have at least one of these in your shop. So let's get this out from under the car and take it over to the workbench and get a closer look at the hardware. All right, why don't we talk about this thing a little bit. Now, it is a very simple design, so there's not a whole lot to talk about, but I'll give you some measurements and just go over a little bit, and hopefully it'll answer some of the questions that you have had. By feeling this and looking at it, it is definitely made of steel for the most part. I've got a magnet here, and all of this is magnetic, except for this handle is CNC machined billet aluminum. So this is heavy duty steel. The magnet is barely sticking to it, just a little bit so. Some grade of stainless, but this is definitely billet aluminum here. The rod and spring inside are also steel. But let's talk about the mechanics of this and what holds it up. So inside here is a rod, jack rod, get it? That rests on these little levels here, and pulling on this handle releases it. I did measure it, and it's about 11 millimeters in diameter, this rod. So you have an 11 millimeter solid steel rod going through one of these levels, and this is some pretty heavy steel, so you don't have to worry about this. This is not a cheap rinky-dink thing. This is definitely well made. It is made in the USA, of course, and they rate this for 2 tons or 4,000 pounds, but they did do a video on putting this in a hydraulic press with a jack, and the jack that it was on failed at 4 tons. I think they were using a 2-ton jack. The jack failed at 4, and then this failed at 6 tons. So they rate this at 4 tons. So, I mean, I wouldn't use this if you were working on dump trucks or semis, but I think this is absolutely perfect for doing brake jobs, you know, one corner at a time. For trucks, you know, if you have an F-150, you could totally use this on one corner at a time with an F-150. No problem with a car. 2 tons is more than what most cars weigh. So you really don't have anything to worry about. It seems pretty well made. The only complaint that I have with this so far, I'm not sure why, the welds here are fully complete, but for some reason they didn't complete them here. You know, I feel like they could have welded the whole way around. Now, I know they don't see stresses pulling them apart. I just don't get why they wouldn't finish that weld. And they did the same thing at the bottom. I feel like they should just complete that weld. But that's really the only complaint I have so far. I definitely want to give a big thanks to AGA Tools for sending me their jack rod. I think this is going to be a great addition to my shop. I'm very much looking forward to using it. I think it'll greatly benefit you as well. Believe it or not, I saw their ad on Instagram and knew that I had to have it. Definitely think it's going to make brake jobs and simple work on cars a lot easier without having to haul around a jack stand. Super excited about it. Like I said, it's super simple. The only complaint I have is the welds aren't complete around here, but I'm not sure how critical that is, being that the force and load is going that way, it would just make me feel a little bit better if those welds were complete. But they did show the torture test video of this thing failing at 6 tons. So you really don't have much to worry about. Car work, absolutely no problem. Corner by corner on an F-150, no problem at all. So if you're smart about it and you don't abuse it, it's going to be a great addition to your shop and you'll have nothing to worry about. So very important when jacking up your vehicle using jacks, jack stands in this. Be smart, have good jacking locations. If you aren't familiar, check your owner's manual, check online forums, what other people have done. Do your research if you're not sure, because this can kill you if you do it wrong. So be smart about it and be safe. Don't do anything stupid. Hopefully AGA Tools can save some lives with this device. Once again, link in the description to this if you want to get one for yourself. I highly recommend it. And yeah, I'll see you guys next time. Bye.